They served our country with honor.
A bullet hit my helmet right here.
They gave of themselves so we could live free.
Nick saved Jody, and Jody saved others.
They returned home.
Yeah, it was horrific.
And continued to serve.
I took 30 days of leave from work and stayed down here in this area and just cut trees.
This time, our community.
That it starts with a good heart and a heart that wants to serve.
It was a calling. A sense of serving is big for me.
They are the men and women of South Georgia.
And sometimes what helps veterans is just to get it out of their system and talk to somebody.
She goes over and beyond to help the person.
They are the heroes among us. You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us. Brought to you by Montlick & Associates.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Heath-Sands.
And I'm Jim Wallace.
We are here at the Marine Corps Logistics Base, Albany, and oh, the stories you'll hear, the places we'll go, and the people you'll meet again.
Now, there are people in South Georgia who have given years, even decades of their lives, ensuring our freedom. They're still giving back. They're rebuilding, inspiring our communities.
Now, these are the men and women you nominated for Heroes Among Us. 10 service members who continue to serve us every day. Tonight, we'll take a look at the impact they made and which one will win the prize. We begin with a Lee County man who saved lives as a Navy medic in Vietnam.
Now he has the medal to prove it. Gerald Greer spoke with WLB's Emily Forrester and tells us why he didn't do it for the Silver Star.
In the midst of a draft, Gerald Greer voluntarily enlisted in the U.S. Navy in the early 1960s. In his early 20s, he was off to Vietnam, serving as a medic to help Marines in need.
There's no overcoming it. There's bullets flying everywhere.
In March of 1966, a battle led to several Marines' deaths. His actions then earned him the Silver Star. It's the third highest military combat decoration. The certificate says he left his protected position, went through flying bullets, and treated 2 of those hurt, then 2 more. He couldn't carry them to safety, so instead he shielded them from enemy fire with his body.
A bullet hit my helmet right here and went through it and came out the other side, didn't hit me.
That brush with death and Greer's ability to continue helping his fellow servicemen tell his story of courage.
Don't understand to this day why, but it didn't hit me.
In Lowndes County, we honor another Vietnam veteran.
Richard Swafford, who spent 12 months in Vietnam, his experience as a tunnel rat impacts him to this very day.
In October 1966, 17-year-old Richard Swafford joined the Army. At 19, he got orders to take his specialty, demolition, to Vietnam.
And they said, well, they need tunnel rats. I didn't know what a tunnel rat was. I said, that sounds good, I'll take it.
Tunnel rats are now widely known as the most dangerous job in Vietnam. They blindly searched and destroyed tunnels that Viet Cong had built and used as shelter.
We had to be alert to the booby traps, snakes in the wall, mines, all that stuff.
Many soldiers met the enemy who took their lives.
Yeah, it was horrific. It's something you wouldn't wish on anybody.
12 months later, Swafford came home with a Bronze Star for heroism, but he kept those stories from war to himself for 40 years. He was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, but this soldier at heart says he wouldn't change a thing.
And I felt like I was fighting for my country.
The Vietnam War was considered one of the costliest wars in U.S. history, costing about $200 billion. More than 3 million people were killed, 58,000 of those being Americans. Almost a decade after the war ended, Americans who served were honored in Washington with the Wall That Heals. In 2012, President Barack Obama signed a proclamation that put into effect the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. That will continue until November 11th of 2025. Each year, the program will honor Americans who saw our country through one of the most challenging times in our nation's history.
In October, we honored Dr. Dan Brewer.
He spent nearly 35 years serving his country. Now retired, he continues to serve his fellow veterans while fighting for change.
After more than 25 years in the Army, Dr. Dan Brewer's country called him back into combat in 2005. They needed his environmental background. He oversaw burn pits for multiple U.S. forces for the next 7.5 years.
A lot of smoke because they were throwing anything and everything in this big hole they dug, which they called a burn pit. I could immediately see this is going to be a long-term health issue.
Back in 2014, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs began a registry for people whose health may be impacted by airborne hazards and being exposed to open burn pits. As of June, more than 175,000 veterans and service members had done the registry questionnaire.
Anger is not going to get me anywhere.
Now Brewer serves as post commander at the American Legion Post 30. He also works with Burn Pits 360. It's a nonprofit dedicated to helping service members and veterans who have been affected.
And sometimes what helps veterans is just to get it out of their system and talk to somebody.
And remember, if you know any man or woman who has served our country and is continuing to make an impact on your community, you can nominate them for Heroes Among Us. It's easy. Just go to our website, WALB.com, and click on the Heroes Among Us tab right at the top of the page. Fill out the form, and you're done. And we'll continue to share these stories on the last Thursday of each month at 7, on WALB News 10 at 7 on ABC. And don't forget, you can also watch each of these stories on WALB's Heroes Among Us page.
These are only a few of the men and the women we'll be recognizing tonight. One of them is going to be getting a getaway for two from our sponsor, Montlick & Associates.
Still ahead, an Army veteran who is wrapping up his time in service is still giving back to the community. What he did after disaster struck Southwest Georgia twice.
And the ultimate sacrifice two Southwest Georgia police officers made that left behind a legacy, how their family and community is honoring them for their heroism.
You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us, brought to you by Montlick & Associates. We'll be right back.
Life after a serious accident is hard. You're facing all kinds of medical and financial issues, and dealing with the insurance company on your own can be totally overwhelming. This is when you need an experienced attorney to help you rebuild your life. That's what we do. If you've been injured, call 1-800-LAW-NEED for a free consultation with a Montlick attorney, or simply dial #WIN from your cell phone. That's pound 946.
To all our troops and their families, we salute you. We thank you.
Hands-free, one step closer to safer Georgia roads.
Hands-free, one step closer to the end of distracted driving.
Hands-free, one step closer to fewer roadway fatalities.
Hands-free.
One giant leap for Georgia highway safety.
Thank you to our legislators for making Georgia a hands-free state. When we all work together, we have the power to save lives.
I ride safe. We ride safe. Does your kid ride safe?
Introducing iRideSafe.com. With easy-to-follow videos and guides, iRideSafe helps answer everyday questions, like how do I tell if my child's car seat is installed correctly? And am I using the proper type of seat? Knowing the answers can dramatically improve your child's safety and even save their life. iRideSafe for safer Georgia roads. A public service of Montlick & Associates.
Hi, I'm Jolie Montlick. Since I was very young, I've watched my dad work extremely hard to give injured people the best possible legal help. I also watched him devote time to public service because he genuinely cares about people and he's always believed in giving back. Now that I'm a licensed driver, I can see the need for programs like iRideSafe. With safety education and some extra care, injuries can be prevented. iRideSafe for safer Georgia roads. A public service of Montlick & Associates.
You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us, brought to you by Montlick & Associates.
We're back at Marine Corps Logistics Base, Albany.
Our next hero used his military experience to help with the recovery after the January 2017 storms.
Then, when Hurricane Michael hit, Daniel Potter hit the streets of South Georgia once again.
Daniel Potter will soon wrap up 20 years of service in the U.S. Army. That includes a combat tour in Iraq. Now stationed at Fort Benning, his definition of service took a turn in January of 2017.
I didn't even own a chainsaw before that first storm hit.
After damaging straight-line winds and tornadoes, Potter helped the Good Life City recover. But it didn't end there. In October 2018, Hurricane Michael hit southwest Georgia.
To look at it now, you wouldn't think that anything was even that bad in this area.
Potter once again started making 200-mile round-trip drives to help in the face of devastation, even helping rescue people he didn't know had been trapped by trees for days.
Trees fell over and blocked these two ladies' houses. Neither of them could get out.
Potter put his health and safety on the line, but he recovered and continued to do his part.
As long as I can afford it and my body will let me do it.
This past December marked 2 years since police officers Nick Smarr and Jody Smith were killed in the line of duty in Americus.
Smarr served in the Marine Corps Forces Reserve. Both men saved lives with their final breaths.
I think there's very few people in this world that would do what he did.
In December 2018, the U.S. Marine Corps recognized the final actions of Nick Smarr. He received the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps Medal. It's the highest Marine non-combat award for heroism. The Americus police officer and his best friend, Georgia Southwestern State University police officer Jody Smith, were shot responding to a domestic call in December 2016. Smarr died while giving Smith CPR.
And he was there for Jody, and he telling him, "I got you, man, I got you."
That kept Smith alive long enough so he could make it to the hospital and donate his organs. They both died heroes. Smith
And his willingness to be an organ donor shows the kind of person that he was.
And Smarr.
You know, that's the kind of Marine he was, and that's the kind of officer he was, and the kind of person that he was.
Still ahead, after 3 deployments overseas, a retired Army veteran used his time in service and personal experiences to help storm victims. How a few simple words left a lasting impact on the Southwest Georgia community.
And a nurse practitioner who has served more than 3 decades in the Army uses her experience to teach at the collegiate level how she's breaking barriers while putting lives back together.
You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us, brought to you by Montlick & Associates. We'll be right back.
To all our troops and their families, we salute you. We thank you.
Why do more and more families turn to our firm after an accident?
Because at Montlick & Associates, our experience pays.
Our firm has recovered billions of dollars for our clients.
And we have the knowledge and resources that get you the compensation you deserve.
We are Montlick & Associates, working hard and winning cases for over 35 years.
If you've been hurt, call us 24/7 at 1-800-LAW-NEED or simply dial #WIN from your cell phone. That's #946.
When David Montlick founded Montlick & Associates in 1984, he had 2 major goals.
To create the most service-oriented personal injury law firm in the United States.
And to always give back to the community in a meaningful way.
35 years later, Montlick & Associates attorneys and team members work hard every day helping families rebuild their lives after an accident.
If you've been injured, call us at 1-800-LAW-NEED for your free consultation, or simply dial #WIN from your cell phone.
Hi, I'm Jolie Montlick. Since I was very young, I've watched my dad work extremely hard to give injured people the best possible legal help. I also watched him devote time to public service because he genuinely cares about people and he's always believed in giving back. Now that I'm a licensed driver, I can see the need for programs like I Ride Safe. With safety education and some extra care, injuries can be prevented. I Ride Safe for safer Georgia roads, a public service of Montlick & Associates.
Why do families depend on our firm after an accident?
We are Montlick & Associates.
With billions of dollars recovered for our clients and over 35 years of service,
We know the value of your case and how to get you the compensation and benefits you deserve.
We know what it takes to win. If you've been injured, dial pound WIN from your cell phone to speak with a Montlick attorney. That's pound 946. The initial consultation is free, and we don't get paid until you do.
You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us, brought to you by Montlick & Associates.
Our January hero, Guillermo Cuernavaca, felt a tug on his heart to use his military experience to help storm survivors.
WALB's Emily Forrester tells us how Cuernavaca was the first line of defense for some of Albany's Hispanic population hit hard by the storms.
The biggest role was to ensure the safety of the population and make sure my guys came back home.
After 17 years and 3 overseas deployments, Guillermo Cuernavaca retired from the U.S. Army.
We trained for emergency planning, and that's what this was. It was an emergency situation. A lot of the trailer homes were damaged.
In January 2017, Cuernavaca jumped into action after the tornadoes. He helped translate between search and rescue crews and Albany's Hispanic community.
They were having a hard time having the Hispanic population come out with the mobile trailers because they didn't trust them. But when I started knocking on the doors with them and speaking Spanish and telling them I didn't care what their legal status was, we just wanted to help.
He and his family then helped collect supplies to get those survivors back on their feet.
We need that type of person to step up and do more outreach.
Next, we turn to Colonel Ramona Mullins Foreman.
She spent more than 30 years in the Army as a nurse practitioner, and that time shaped how she trains young people who will soon take care of you and me.
They're going out and they're putting their lives on the line, so, you know, I'm there to put them back together.
Army Colonel Ramona Mullins Foreman has spent around 34 years in the Army, deploying overseas 3 times, most recently commanding a surgical team in Afghanistan.
Around a lot of the installations.
Now, reminders of that time sit throughout her office, where she teaches at Georgia Southwestern State University in Americus. When she got the call to deploy nearly 2 years ago, GSW told her her job would be waiting when she got back.
I can take examples of what I see over there in their healthcare and their delivery systems and compare it to what we have here.
For her peers and her students, Colonel Mullins Foreman's commitment to her country and her teaching are priceless.
She can come back from her deployment and incorporate what she's seen, what she's experienced, and I think that's very beneficial for our students.
In 1985, Craig Bennett knew he wanted to serve our country.
He had no idea more than 3 decades later he would retire and use that service to help run a South Georgia city.
It was a calling.
After college graduation, Craig Bennett was commissioned into the Navy as an officer in 1990. For the first 14 years, he piloted helicopters. He supported multiple U.S. military operations, including the Gulf War. After that, though, his time as a pilot came to an end.
Just after our second operation, major operation in Iraq, but I knew some of the things I was going into with these major staffs and whatnot was continuing to, advance, the U.S.'s global war on terrorism.
He moved up the ranks and retired 14 years later. Bennett attended a fellowship to teach veterans the ins and outs of local government management. Though he wasn't from South Georgia, he ended up here as a city manager in Pelham. He started back in September and was put to the test just 1 month later.
I think the crisis management and those type of things that I learned in the military helped me in October when we had to go through Hurricane Michael.
Over 70 years ago, the Allied troops were fighting for their lives in the hedgerows of France in the effort to free Nazi-occupied France. Now we're going to hear one soldier's story and the horrors he found waiting during the liberation of Europe.
And a veteran of the Air Force who struggled after retirement turned her problems into a solution for helping others who travel the same path.
Plus, the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to announce the winner of this year's getaway package, sponsored by Montlick & Associates.
You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us, brought to you by Montlick & Associates. We'll be right back.
What is your health worth to you? How about your family's way of life? Your ability to play with your kids? Their education? Your job? If you were seriously injured, do you know what your quality of life is worth? At Montlick & Associates, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we'll work extremely hard to get you all the compensation you deserve. Call 1-800-LAW-NEED or simply dial #WIN from your cell phone.
Did you know that getting legal help can make all the difference in the amount of compensation and benefits you receive after an accident? Just ask a Montlick attorney. The initial consultation is free, and you pay no fee unless you win.
Life after a serious accident is hard. You're facing all kinds of medical and financial issues, and dealing with the insurance company on your own can be totally overwhelming. This is when you need an experienced attorney to help you rebuild your life. That's what we do. If you've been injured, call 1-800-LAW-NEED for a free consultation with a Montlick attorney, or simply dial #WIN from your cell phone. That's #946.
To all our troops and their families, we salute you. We thank you.
At Montlick & Associates, we see all too often the consequences of drinking while driving.
Devastating consequences that could be avoided.
Please don't drink and drive. A public service of Montlick & Associates and iRideSafe.com.
I ride safe. We ride safe. Does your kid ride safe?
Introducing iRideSafe.com. With easy-to-follow videos and guides, iRideSafe helps answer everyday questions, like how do I tell if my child's car seat is installed correctly? And am I using the proper type of seat? Knowing the answers can dramatically improve your child's safety and even save their life. iRideSafe for safer Georgia roads. A public service of Montlick & Associates.
At Montlick & Associates, we believe in the power of the justice system to get injured people the money they need and deserve after an accident. With over 35 years of experience and billions of dollars recovered for our clients, our attorneys know what it takes to win. If you've been injured, dial #WIN now from your cell phone to speak with a Montlick attorney. That's #946. The initial consultation is free, and you pay no fee unless you win.
You're watching WALB News 10's Heroes Among Us, brought to you by Montlick & Associates.
In April, we honored World War II veteran Sir George Agan. He passed away the night his story aired.
Now, he helped save some 30,000 innocent people from a concentration camp. WALB's Emily Forrester sat down with Agan and his family after he received the highest honor from the French military.
With a humble salute.
You're gonna get it. We waited and waited, and today's the day.
World War II veteran Sir George Agan entered a ceremony that would change his life. Agan spent more than 180 days straight in the combat zone during 1944 and 1945. He was one of the first 30 U.S. troops to liberate thousands of starving Jewish people from the Dachau concentration camp in Germany. It's those efforts that led him here, the Dasher Heart Center at South Georgia Regional Medical Center.
For American veterans, it is an amazing honor for us, and to be able to recognize them and what they did on French territory to liberate France and Europe.
As he fought to recover following hip surgery, the French Consul General pinned the highest French military or civilian honor on Agan's jacket.
I wanted him to feel the love and admiration and respect and the honor that was in the room.
An emotional and powerful moment just 2 weeks before Sir George Agan passed away.
The world paid its respect this year with a remembrance of the D-Day landings that happened June 6, 1944.
Codenamed Operation Overlord, it was the largest amphibious invasion in history. More than 160,000 soldiers crossed the English Channel and stormed the beaches of Normandy, France. 10,000 of those were either killed, wounded, or missing in action. The sacrifices would prove crucial, though, in turning the tide of World War II and the liberation of Nazi Europe. Less than a year later, Allied troops would bring an end to the Nazi regime. Allied nation leaders gathered on the Normandy beaches this year to remember those who lost their lives 75 years ago. Our last hero served 24 years in the Air Force.
And after struggling to find a job upon retirement from the military, Tabora Temple is helping others in her shoes.
Tabora Temple deployed multiple times during the 24 years she spent in the U.S. Air Force.
I helped set up one of the first morgues. You know, it sounds morbid, but hey, that's, you know, a way of life. That's war.
But it's her time right after she retired that she draws on now to help others.
I was in their shoes. You know, when I retired, no one would hire me. I'm like, I have 2 master's degrees, and no one would give me the chance.
Temple now works as the Military and Veteran Services Coordinator for Wiregrass, Georgia Technical College. In her 4 years there, she's encountered many veterans struggling to go back to life as a civilian. That includes Rodriguez Latson.
You don't know what you want to do, you just lost in life. I was just like really depressed, didn't have nobody to talk to.
With a lounge and a quiet room where vets can decompress whenever need be, she's made Wiregrass Tech a place they can call home, all in hopes of addressing those mental health issues.
My job is to show them that it does matter. You matter.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Now we ask you to vote for your favorite hero among us. We've received hundreds of votes, and we're honored to announce the winner now.
Sir George Agan, who passed away in April, received the most votes. His story of bravery and heroism impacted many across Southwest Georgia. We were able to present his wife Joyce with a trip. She says it was not about winning a trip, but honoring her husband's memory.
I feel so badly he is not here to be happy with us, but so many people have said he's watching us, and he is.
Right now, J. Brown Productions out of Adel is working on a documentary about George Agan's life. The director tells us the film will include the stories told by Sir Agan himself. They plan to premiere the documentary during October, the month of Sir Agan's birthday. George Agan's wife will have her choice of 4 getaway packages, each valued at $1,000.
She will be able to choose from a staycation, sports package, or a 4-night cruise out of a U.S. port, all sponsored by Montlick and Associates.
Congratulations to all our nominees. You made a tremendous impact on our community, and we're grateful to you.
We'd also like to thank those currently serving our country and protecting our freedoms. The work doesn't stop here, though. Help us honor the heroes among us each month by nominating a serviceman or woman you know.
It's easy. Just go to our website, WALB.com, and click on the Heroes Among Us tab right at the top of the page. Fill out the form and you're done. We'll continue to share these stories on the last Thursday of each month at 7 on WALB News 10 at 7 on ABC. That's going to do it for us. You can find all of these Hero Among Us stories on our website, WALB.com, or on your WALB News 10 app. Join us for our next newscast.
Until then, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your service.